Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 Under Par podcast. This is a golf podcast where Little White Ball is life. I'm your host, ScottyTee, and it's just me for this episode. KJ and Scaff, not sure where they are. Actually, I know exactly where they are. They are out of town for work because we're doing this podcast on the side, but it's just me. Part of me thinks I scared everybody away, but I don't know. Other people couldn't come out as guests, so I'm going solo dolo for this episode. Big week for football, especially. You know, the Super Bowl game was last night. Chiefs come out on top. If I was a betting man, I would have bet on the Chiefs. I did not, but I predicted they win. If you go back and listen to last week's episode, check it out. I said Chiefs were going to win, and I was right. Kudos to me. But I did not expect Webb Simpson to win this week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. That is one of my favorite tournaments just throughout the PGA Tour schedule. I get very excited for it. It's almost like you got Torrey Pines this week or last week. Then you had Waste Management Phoenix Open this week. Golf season is finally hitting its stride. I'm really excited about it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Again, Webb Simpson comes out on top, beats Tony Finau. Got to feel for Tony Finau. That is really, really tough for him, considering how many second-place finishes that he has. We're going to talk all about this. Since it is just me, probably be a little shorter episode, which I'm cool with, and I think you all will be cool with as well. Follow us on social media at 3 Under Par Pod. That is the number 3 Under Par Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review. And if you're watching us on our brand new YouTube channel, welcome. Glad you're here. Click that subscribe button and like it as well. We can engage in some dialogue as well on there. I'll respond to some comments on that YouTube channel. And let's dive into it, man. Really pumped. Waste Management Phoenix Open. I've said it all the time, though. So I went to the Waste Management Phoenix Open a couple years ago. And in my opinion, there is nothing like it in sports. Really. And I've been fortunate enough to go to some pretty cool sporting events. I've never been to Super Bowl. That is one that I would love to go to, Super Bowl. I've been to an NBA Finals game. I did not go to a World Series game, especially when the Astros were here. I did go for ALCS game in 2017 against the Yankees. We're not going to get into the Astros right now, though. That is not a good situation. But, hey, Dusty Baker is our manager. Shout out to Dusty. We're still got a lineup. Still got a squad. We can make a playoff run. But Waste Management Phoenix Open, you hear numbers like 100,000 people are there, whatever that may be. I've heard numbers of 200,000 people are there on Saturdays. And I'll tell you what, after being there, there is nothing like it. 16 is electric. The wait to get into 16, the par 3 at Waste Management Phoenix Open, is outrageous. 4 hours when we were there. That's how long the wait was. One thing that's always really great is that during this time, like you'll see Barstool, Old Row, a bunch of other social media accounts, they will post people sprinting to 16T when the gates open at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll tell you what, that is not a short walk or sprint. It's over a mile away, and you got people that are just beelining straight for it. It's amazing. And then, of course, you see videos of people chugging their beers, slamming their beers. It's amazing. Again, Webb Simpson comes out on top. Final score, 267. 17 under. If you go back and listen to last week's, Preston and I, we did predict a little bit more of a birdie fest, I would say. Yeah, you know, it wasn't as big of a birdie fest as the Desert Classic was a week earlier, but pretty stout leaderboard. My prediction, Justin Thomas finished T3, and he was making a run at it. Winning score was 17 under. Justin Thomas ended up at 14 under, and he knocked it in the water on 17. 17 is that drivable par 4, and if he wouldn't have hit it in the water, he would have probably posted a number that probably would have been pretty good. And one thing that's really cool when you go and post a number like that is that you post that number and you say, guys, come get me. Here's my score. Beat it. And generally, I would say more often than not, it's probably about the same as guys who are on the course are probably 11 or 12. But point is that it still puts some pressure on guys at that who are in the final groups to go out and beat that number. So Justin Thomas, good showing. Pretty proud of that pick. Webb Simpson, though, he is sneaky good. And Preston and I kind of talked about it last week of sneaky good. I was saying that Jon Rahm is sneaky good, but I got the world golf rankings pulled up right here, and Jon Rahm is ranked number 3 in the world. It's hard to be sneaky when you're 3 in the world. I get that. Webb Simpson, I believe, was 10th. It was either 11 or 10 going into this week of the tournament. Wins, and now he jumps up to 7. He is now ahead of Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Tony Finau, who finished 2nd, Patrick Reed, Shane Lowry, Bryson DeChambeau, Gary Woodland. Shane Lowry won the Open Championship. Gary Woodland won the U.S. Open. Those are major champions from this last year. And Webb Simpson is amazing. He's 7 in the world. The guys who are only ahead of him are Brooks, Rory, Rahm, JT, Dustin Johnson, and Tiger Woods. That's a pretty good company to be in. Won the U.S. Open. And I was actually listening to the No Laying Up guys this morning, and they were saying, is he one of the more forgotten major championship winners? It's kind of hard not to disagree with that, I would say. If not them, then I would probably say Jimmy Walker, Lucas Glover, maybe if you want to throw in Keegan or Dustin Johnson or Duff Daddy in there, considering they haven't really done as much since those wins. But if you go back and listen to our 2019 recap or 2020 preview, one of those 2 episodes, we kind of talked a little bit more about the major championship winners from the last decade, forgotten champions, most important champions. Hey, not sure if you heard, but Tiger Woods won the Masters this year. Still awesome. So I got to feel, to put a bow on it, Webb Simpson, very impressive. He might be one of the most unorthodox. I don't know if he's unorthodox in his playing, but his finish, his follow-through is atrocious. It is hideous. It's like an eyesore out there. And he's ranked number 7 in the world. That just proves that it doesn't matter how you get it done. No matter what you do, just get the ball in the hole. And it's great. Webb Simpson, Team USA, Wake Forest guy, if I'm not mistaken. Let me fact check myself on that on there, because I know the listeners will call me on it. Let's see, Webb Simpson. He was on that 2007 Walker Cup team. Pretty good one. Multiple President's Cup, Ryder Cups. The guy's legit. He is very much legit. ACC Player of the Year, Wake Forest grad. You're welcome, everybody. I got to trust myself on that. I know those things. All right, let's move on. Tony Finau. I forget exactly how many seconds that is for him now, but that guy is the king of second place finishes. It's pretty remarkable, actually, how many times he has finished second, because Tony Finau, big break guy, coming off the big break, which is amazing, shows that, hey, you didn't even have to win the big break, but in order to get your big break, kudos to him. Maybe he's got a little bit of an unorthodox swing. It looks like a half swing. It also helps when you're about 6'3", 6'4", to help get that leverage through the ball that you need in order to bring that power through the ball. But big basketball guy. A lot of guys out there were repping Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe. Justin Thomas wearing the Lower Merion jersey. Tony Finau, that was so cool whenever he makes that birdie on 16. He does the follow-through. Kobe, for birdie, because he's a big basketball guy. I really do feel for him with how many second-place finishes that he has, because he really does have so much talent. I believe he's only won once on tour, and he's right there. At the Masters this last year, he was in the final group with Tiger Woods. So he is knocking on the door. It is only a matter of time. That guy should probably have multiple wins under his belt. And the fact that he doesn't kind of makes me sad, but also, and I hope that this is the case, that he's learning a lot from this, because you can get a lot of scars playing golf, especially mental scars, very easily. And I hope that he's learning all this without it becoming in the back of his mind, man, maybe I can't close. Man, maybe I should do something different because I failed so much in the past. And I just hope he clears that out and does become a champion, because I predicted him for the U.S. Open. And considering how many times he's gotten second, he might be on. No, he won't do that. Let's say, do you think so comment below, do you think Tony Finau will end up with more second place finishes at the U.S. Open than Phil Mickelson with 6. 6 is the magic number. Not the company that you want to be in with second place finishes, but I think he's knocking on the door. Look, he's ranked what number is he on the World Golf Ranking? 12. He's ranked number 12 in World Golf Rankings. So he's right there. Everybody's talented. Again, I just hope that he's using all these experiences to capitalize so that one day he can go out there and be a major championship winner. Other people at the leaderboard, Bubba Watson, Nate Lashley. We're just talking about Nate Lashley. Good for him. Justin Thomas, Scott Piercy, Max Homa, who roasted me on Twitter. Max Homa's got to tell you what, he's got to be one of the best followers on social media. Tweet at him if you dare, but he will respond back and roast you. It's awesome. Max is the man. Big fan of him. Billy Horschel, T9. How about Daniel Berger? Good for Daniel Berger. That guy, PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, 1 year. And he lost a lot of his status this year, if I'm not mistaken. Tough to recover from that. I've known some buddies who have gotten literally on the doorstep of the PGA Tour. Didn't play so hot. Lost a lot of their status. So good for Daniel Berger because he was part of that class of 2011, the high school class. That might be legendary with Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Daniel Berger was right in that conversation. If you remember when Jordan Spieth holed out, I believe it was at the Travelers Tournament from the bunker where him and Greller had that awesome celebration where they chest bumped, which was amazing because generally golfer celebrations outside of Tiger Woods suck. They are not very good if you ask me. But that was electric. That was so great. It was perfectly timed. They nailed it. That celebration was against Daniel Berger in the playoff. Didn't play well, so it's good seeing him having a top 10. Hopefully weeks like this can help guys like a Daniel Berger who have been struggling a little bit find that confidence, find that groove. It's amazing to me how golfers in particular, when they find something, they find something. And it is just can be a little tweak that is off on here or there. It's pretty remarkable. It really is. So shout out to our friend Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger, if you'd like to come on the podcast, you're welcome to. Really open to any person who wants to come on the podcast. We are open to anybody. Again, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, I think they kind of get not a bad rap, but kind of the short end of the stick with it being on the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think that other tournaments could do as well on Super Bowl Sunday. People want to tune into the Waste Management Phoenix Open because, frankly, it's a party. And they're one of the few tournaments on the PGA Tour that has really embraced that party atmosphere. And I tell you what, after being there myself, it really is something like I've never seen before. If it was like, let's say it was the Desert Classic, American Express a couple weeks earlier, that tournament wouldn't stand a chance with competing with with Super Bowl Sunday. I think people will tune in. If you remember last year, that's when this whole rules controversy was happening with Ricky Fowler dropping. Nothing, at least like this, came to my mind or caught my attention with any rules of controversies, which is a good thing. If you're the USGA, stay out of the limelight as much as possible. Waste Management, though, there's probably a reason why they fall on the same Sunday. Waste Management Sunday, R.I.P. Kobe. Super Bowl Sunday. Now, as we enter February, it's almost like a dead time in sports, if you ask me. Now, I'm a big college basketball guy. Baylor University is ranked number 1 in the country, at least at the time of this recording. We play Kansas State. I can't wait. Hopefully we'll continue on and be number 1 in the country. XFL. Cool. I don't really know what else to say about the XFL. The Houston Roughnecks have a team. I actually got tickets for those. Probably won't be going because Little White Ball is life and I'll try to be playing golf on Saturday if I can. But point is, since this is a little bit more of a lull time, at least until March Madness, we can watch some golf. Next week, Pebble Beach, Pro-Am. Again, hopefully we'll see Bill Murray out there. Bill Murray had an awesome commercial, too, at the Super Bowl. How about that? What was your favorite commercial at the Super Bowl? Comment below. I really liked Bill Murray and the Jeep commercial because of the Groundhog Day thing. Pretty awesome. I liked it a lot. I totally forgot where I was going with that. All right, let's move on. Next week is Pebble Beach. Oh, yeah, Pebble Beach, Bill Murray. We'll see some of our other favorite golfers out there. Tony Romo is also a really big participant in the tournament. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he had the withdrawal last year. Maybe he had a scheduling conflict or something like that. I don't know. Look, with how much that he is actually trying to make the PGA Tour, actually tournaments like this would probably be good for him. Seeing what now, it is Pebble Beach, and it will be kind of tournament ready. But it's got to be so hard to run a pro-am because you got to make the course doable for the pros and the amateurs. I'm glad I don't have to set up that tournament. I'm glad I don't have to set up any tournaments, though, to be honest. Shout out to my friends who work in golf. Y'all are the real MVPs. Little golf gossip, though. I'm on golfchannel.com right now, and there's a report. This is on the front page of Waste Management Phoenix Open. Underage man arrested for stealing alcohol from the Waste Management Phoenix Open. A 20-year-old man accused of stealing alcohol at the Waste Management Phoenix Open had to be rescued from a canal before being taken into custody, according to a report of azcentral.com. Scottsdale police said that this individual was stealing alcohol just before noon on Saturday. He's being chased by foot workers on the event as he hopped over a barbed wire fence and into a canal. Imagine how much underage drinking is going on at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Look, frankly, not that difficult to do. All you need is go with a buddy or an individual who is over 21 and just get your beers. Why are you trying to steal why are you trying to steal alcohol from this? You can just have somebody go get it for you. Now, I understand that you can only get one per person or one per two or something like that. And sometimes they ID the person you're getting the beer for. Sometimes they don't. But look, I would much rather risk that, somebody carding me like there, even though I'm over 21. Thankfully, I'm over 21. I would much rather somebody do that than end up in a canal trying to jump over a barbed wire fence. What are you, nuts? He was taken into custody and faces possible charges of theft, disorderly conduct, and other related charges. That should be a lesson to everybody out there. Don't run from the police. It only gets worse. What's the worst thing that could happen if you are drinking underage at a golf tournament? How do you get caught? You have to be so belligerently hammered and drunk off your ass that you don't know what to do? Man, because even if you're 20, the kid's 20. Nobody is going to be asking you, hey, what's your identification? If you're 21 or 20, nobody can tell the difference just by looking at you. Wear your sunglasses. It's around noon on a Saturday. Wear your sunglasses so nobody can really tell that big of a difference. Oh, my goodness. Hoster said Jameson couldn't get out of the canal on his own after trying for about 10 minutes. And that's when the Scottsdale Fire Department stepped in. The freaking fire department had to step in? Yo, that's not good. That's really not good. Well, that's all I got for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Again, just me. Shorter episode than usual. If you've been following us for a while, KJ was in New Zealand. I don't know about y'all, the listeners, the viewers. I have not really heard much from KJ since he's gotten back from New Zealand. I talked to him this morning just to make sure that he was alive, which confirmed he is. He said that it was unbelievable, a phenomenal trip, and he said it was like the trip of a lifetime. He's got some really cool stories, but I haven't heard them. So whenever he comes on this podcast next week, he will share with not only me, not only T-Bone, but the entire 3 Under Par audience, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to us on Apple Podcast. We appreciate you. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us for this episode of the 3 Under Par podcast. If you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review. Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That would be great. That way we know we for sure see it, and we can comment below. DMs are open on social media. Again, at 300POD. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Comment below. What was your favorite moment at the Waste Management Phoenix Open? Maybe I missed something. Comment below on some major event that I missed. Again, I didn't really watch as much of the tournament. I watched a lot of the Super Bowl on Sunday. So after this, Pebble Beach gets me really excited to watch some golf again. You got the Players coming up next month. Love that. Some big tournaments. Golf. The momentum is building. It's an amazing time. If you're watching on YouTube, comment. Click that like button as well. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. I think what I'm going to do is do golf course reviews as well as the podcast. Upload all the podcast episodes on YouTube. If I have time, hopefully create clips from each episode. Maybe Joe Rogan-esque. Joe Rogan's the man. Big fan of anything that he does. Just like Michael Scott from The Office. And one thing I want to do is just golf course reviews as well. So that's probably going to be one of the next videos that I upload to YouTube. Hopefully we'll have time to do it. That's kind of the biggest thing holding me back right now because we do this podcast weekly. And then doing something like that could be a little bit tougher. But I'll do my best to carve out some time. And if you want to hear more, let me know. If you want me to come and review your golf course, I'd be more than happy to do that. We are based in Houston, Texas. I think one of my goals, low-key, is to review every golf course in the city of Houston. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head right now. Maybe that's a bit ambitious. Great. I'd rather be a bit ambitious as opposed to little stitious. Again, another Michael Scott quote. I was kind of reaching a little bit, but go with me. You'll appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, I would love to actually play every golf course in the city of Houston. Do a little review on that. I was able to play golf course in the DFW Metroplex last week. Took some videos, a few pictures. So that's probably going to be the first one that I do. And then go on from there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Pebble Beach, the greatest meeting of land and sea in the world, according to some, which is Monterey Peninsula. Pebble Beach, Spanish Bay, Spyglass, Poppy Hills, Monterey Peninsula Country Club, and most notably, well, maybe not most notably, Pebble Beach is probably most notably Cypress Point. Cypress Point is like Augusta National. If I could ever play Cypress Point, I don't know what I'd do. But I do a lot for it. Because it would be amazing. I'm not going to say I'd miss my own wedding for that, but I might. I'm just kidding. We'll never do that. All right. This is getting off the rails. We got to go. Thanks, everybody, again for tuning in. And remember, Little White Ball is life.